Is Hazard returning back to Stamford Bridge for next season? And could this be the final season we see Lukaku playing for Chelsea Football Club? These are some of the stories breaking today, some of the big reports. Of course, I need to give my thoughts and opinions. I need to break these stories down. And of course, we have to discuss the latest Chelsea news. So I hope you guys definitely enjoy. Smash the like button. There is going to be another video out later tonight where I have an opposition preview with Redmen TV, so stay tuned for that. But before we get into anything, I need to get one big plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by Spitch, the ultimate fantasy manager app new on the market, which allows you to test your managerial skills, your players' skills, where you can compete against other managers, and every single week there's a prize draw of up to 70,000 that can be shared and can be won. So if you guys want to test Spitch out for free, you can do so. And if you're serious about trying to win a share of this money, you can place those small bets as well to really compete. Now you guys on screen, I'm going to show you the lineup that I used last week. As you can see, I've gone for a 4-2-4 system. Basically, my strategy was I want to have more attacking players in my team, attacking players up front, and those attacking fullbacks as well, because they're more likely to get me higher points. As you guys can see, you have a host of flexibility when it comes to using the app. One thing that I need your guys' help with, I want to say first of all, thank you to everyone that has downloaded this app. But what you guys have to do now is come and join my official community page. As you guys can see on screen, this is me right here, Blue Lines TV. And what I've done now is I've shared a link to my community page in the description. So what you have to do is click on the separate link to download Spitch. You must be 18 plus. And then once you've done that, make sure you guys click on the other link in the description to sign up to my community page. So what you guys are waiting for? I know a lot of people are enjoying this. Try out for yourselves. It's absolutely free to try. Links in the description. And without wasting any more time, now let's start with the first story and let's discuss Romelu Lukaku. Now, ever since he was dropped in that game versus Lille in the first leg of the Champions League, I guess it was natural that there were going to be some reports of Lukaku's future being in doubt. Reports are coming out from Italy, especially from Calcio Mercato and other publications there, and they're suggesting that Lukaku is so desperate to return back to Inter Milan that he is willing to take a significant pay cut to make sure this deal happens. Crazy news, but is this story as crazy as that? I don't feel like the particular context we've got in this article was like so ridiculous or outstanding. However, you know, there is a big discussion point at this point in time, and that is, does Lukaku really fit and complement what is currently happening with Tuchel's system? And at this point in time, it seems like that is resounding no. But I'm going to get my thoughts and opinions later on. Let's continue with this article a bit more. Some of the main reasons behind why they're suggesting that Lukaku wants out is that he is not able to fit in our system and he feels like a foreign body in the team as well too. You know, he's been frustrated by how he's been used. He's frustrated that his dream that he's always had to play for Chelsea isn't working out again for him. And he's thinking now it's just best to immediately just bounce back to Italy, go to a team which I'm very fond of the fans. I'm fond of my teammates. I know the system. And in particular, that system gets the best out of my personal game. Now, of course, I wonder how big of a pay cut he would be willing to take to make that return back to Inter Milan. Because Inter Milan, they can't afford to pay him 300 and something thousand a week. He had an opportunity to sign a new deal, which he did turn down because it wasn't of as big an offer compared to the one that we put out there. However, maybe he's realized now that money just isn't enough. It doesn't give you that happiness you need. You know, to play my football on the field is the most important thing. And if I have to make that big decision, I'll have to do that. Personally, I hope that there's still going to be more time for both Lukaku and the club to, you know, find some workarounds too. I do think that if we got to the summer window and we made some smart acquisitions, I think there's enough in us where we could sign the right players to make just a few more subtle tweaks to our system, which could then get the best out of all the existing guys that we have in the team. I'm really hoping that still happens. I've seen some potential in what Lukaku's done. He's not just been awful. The goals he scored, they haven't been like mundane, basic ones where he's literally just like a lamppost in the books and like literally, assists bounce off him. You know, he does create his own goals with his movement, first time finishing. There has been that promise there. And I'd like to think that with some more time, and especially a new pre-season, hopefully there can be some workarounds found, because I don't know. For me, if Lukaku can't work here, I don't really know any striker that could really work at this football club. If you look at guys like Lewandowski, I'd probably say like he's like one of the only ones that could really play his game to a high level that also complements how we play as a team as well. However, how many guys are there like Lewandowski out there in the market? You know, top forwards of top level. There's barely any of these guys available. So, you know, it would be a bit rich for us to just like cut our losses immediately. However, from like a financial point of view, maybe this could happen. You know, if Lukaku's willing to take less wages at Inter Milan, if he does want to go back and this report is like super concrete, then I do think that Inter Milan could do some business with us. You know, the fact that we are saving money due to not paying his 325k per week wages anymore is going to be big for us. The fact that we don't have to pay the rest of the existing transfer money, of course, to complete the deal too, can help us as well. And basically, I feel like we could find many intelligent ways to amortize this deal, where maybe we could sell Lukaku for like a cost-effective, I don't know, 60 mil, or maybe, you know, 40 up front with like another 30 or 40 in add-ons or something like that, which works out for all parties in general. Still, I still feel like we have a long way to go until this story becomes super concrete. And I do think I do want to do a separate video just discussing some of Lukaku's like woes, some of the issues he's facing, why he's not adapting to the system, things he has to do in his game to improve as well too. And for me, it has to be the pressing. Like Lukaku, like get to the running, man, press in the front, at least do that bare minimum. But I don't think it's a simple case of, okay, you're out the door, cool, bounce. I do think that this is a lot more complicated than that. And I guess we have to wait to see what happens. If he doesn't start versus Liverpool in the cup final, which I don't think many of us are expecting him to do, could that then give us more news to come out over the next few weeks, suggesting that, okay, you know, there's a real possibility now that Lukaku is going. If he does go though, I guess I'm always going to be slightly nervous about whether the club know how to invest big money in signing players that improve the team. Because like for a lot of the big name buys that we've constantly bought, they haven't necessarily like reflected their value and worth in the fields. And if we keep showing repeated signs that we miss out on those crucial details that big money signings needs, you know, to spend this amount of money on Lukaku when we all know how he plays and how to get the best out of him, and then to not want to give him, you know, those types of opportunities here, it doesn't make sense for anyone. And would the club get it right if they had to reinvest Lukaku money into someone else? I'll leave you guys to think about that question, give your thoughts in the comments below. And right now, let's move on to another interesting and positive story. And we're going to talk about the return of Eden Hazard, because a report came out from Spanish journalist Ramon Alvarez de Mon. You know, he's a journalist, he has his own YouTube channel as well too. And he's essentially reporting that we have held some secret talks with Real Madrid over the possibility of bringing Eden Hazard back on loan for this summer, which is of course going to be crazy news. It's going to be news that everyone wants to hear about. And I guess I'm wondering just how realistic is it for us to see Hazard here for next season. But anyway, I'm going to read some quotes from this journalist, as he says here, speaking to Bernabeu Digital. I'm not saying it's a done deal, but I know that there are negotiations between Real Madrid and Chelsea for the loan of Eden Hazard. There are Premier League clubs interested in him, including Newcastle, but the most advanced issue is with the Blues. They are discussing what percentage of the fee each would assume. In a loan of this type, Real Madrid would have to assume part of the salary. That's very natural. I'd imagine that if we were to kind of take like a punt, a gamble on Eden Hazard, we're not paying more than 50% of his wages. I think 50-50 is quite fair, in my opinion, especially due to the injury concerns that Hazard has had. But anyway, let's continue on with these quotes. As it says here, although Real Madrid would have enough salary limit to be able to sign Mbappe and Haaland, only with the departures of Marcelo, Bale and Isco, the club likes to be very tidy. The departure of the players who finish their contracts will free up another 60 million euros, which will be eaten by Mbappe. To get Haaland in and not have any kind of financial mess, you need to provide an exit. And Hazard's exit would save you around 20 million euros. If you can assume part of his wage bill, those 20 kilos would be very important to assume part of the costs that the Nugent would have. They would be two operations that would be quite connected to each other. Tomorrow I am assured that Hazard leaves at the end of the season. The next minute I imagine Haaland at Real Madrid. So essentially, you guys, Real Madrid, they are dreaming of that front three of Mbappe, Haaland and Vinicius, which is, let's pray to the footballing gods that we don't see that in Europe for next season, yeah? And essentially, to fund Haaland, to make that dream happen, Hazard would need to go. Now, with Hazard's situation, we know that in 65 games for Real Madrid, he's got like, 6 goals, 10 assists in all comps. It's not been the best. However, the main reason for his poor form has solely been down to injuries. And can I say Real Madrid have necessarily got things right looking after him, rehabilitating the player? Absolutely not. Not with the consistency in which he has broken down. However, Ancelotti this season has been looking to get Hazard back on point. If anything, just to let the rest of Europe know that, listen, there's still a talent here. It might not be working out for him at Real Madrid. However, don't be thinking that, you can just overlook someone like an Eden Hazard. Would Hazard's return be a logical use of funds for next season? I mean, I only see it this way, to be fair. If next season we weren't able to sign Ousmane Dembele, let's say we can't sign Anthony or Rafinha, then I guess to have Hazard as part of that shortlist where if you needed a top player for one season, then it makes a ton of sense why you'd look towards Eden Hazard, because he knows the club, he knows the Premier League, and if you can basically just have him back on loan for a very affordable fee as well too, then I don't see why you wouldn't take the opportunity. But as I'm saying, Hazard's not in my top 3. This for me is like the last resort backup option where if you can't get those main targets, for me, I think a return for Hazard, maybe it's a sentimentality, I can admit that, yeah. But when I've seen a player like this single-handedly just, raise his club's profile and just, be that main talisman over how many seasons, that is something I'm always going to appreciate. And that's always going to be something I'm going to hold very dear to my heart. So I can't just just cynically dismiss my guy Eden Hazard. I don't think I could do that, you guys. I don't think I'd be a human being if that was the case. But I got to be realistic too. If he was to come back, it would have to be for a very particular reason. And if we can't get those main attacking options and profiles we want, then I don't see nothing wrong with taking a punt on Hazard on loan. You guys in the comment section below, how do you feel about this one? Do you think Hazard, you need to see him here for next season? Or maybe you're thinking this makes no sense now, considering we have both Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi who are showing what they can do down that left-hand side. Could Hazard take minutes away from them and of course affect their development even more? So right now, you guys, that's going to be the end for today's News Daily video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Lukaku gone. If he was to go, who would be your replacement for Lukaku for next season? And of course, in the case of Eden Hazard as well too, do you want to see him back next season at Stamford Bridge? So you guys, tomorrow there is going to be the preview and all the pre-match content for Liverpool as well. So stay tuned. A ton of content is planned. And on that note, I'm EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.